who you posted earlier on who was gonna come on stream. Somebody's like, "Yeah, man, you're going on stream with AP." I'm like, "Who's AP?" I'm like, "I don't know AP." I finally figured it out. I'm like, "Oh, we got a new guest."
The best, the best. Since friends call me AP, you can actually refer to me as AP. Oh, it's nice. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, man, awesome range to trade. I was having a lot of fun. Just BTC. I had a good like couple 3-4 trades in BTC before it broke out. I didn't catch this last one, but other than that, it was good. How about you guys?
I was trading BTC. I've called the long first. I cut the long at 8.3Ks and I went long at 8.2K and I'm still long from that. So I'm
Nice.
just waiting for this. BTC? Depends. So I shaved off half of my position here at 8 point. It's basically the last tweet on my Twitter, 8,640, where I was shedding off most of my position before, I think, like 6 hours ago. So, and right now I'm rewatching if I should open the chart. But really, with BTC's propensity to go retest the floor of the breakdown every single time, I'm just wondering if we will go to 9.3 slash 9.8K, maybe low 10Ks as a target. But 4 hours trend is still strong. I see no reason to really be doubtful. Many people talk about a bear flag. I don't feel that at all. The only thing that was interesting that I picked up from order book today was that ETH is seemingly hitting some distribution around these levels, which makes sense. Maybe front running around 200, but besides that, meh. ETH
Uh, I'm currently flat at the moment. I don't have any position. Let me take a look at it. Yeah, I mean, my key levels are pretty much breaking that 8-7. Once we can break 8-7, or at least until I can figure out what we're gonna do from here, I'll I'll wait to get in. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I had a lot of fun doing the range this time because I love it when Bitcoin moves and we play afterwards because that's my favorite time to play. So just chilling right now. I'm trading Legacy at all. APD trade Legacy at all?
Well, I like when everybody calls markets, legacy markets. Yeah, I've actually begun my way in legacy markets, but I can't really say that I was profitable in the traditional markets when I started out. So I completely went broke in my forex account first time. It was a small amount of money. Right now, there is only a small, I would guess, samples that I trade. So I trade SPX, I trade gold, silver, I trade um, when Uh, Jesus Christ. My favorite pair, my favorite instrument, and everybody calls this an instrument where traders go to die, and I call it an instrument where crypto traders go to LARP and they completely fail, and that is called oil. Uh, because the amount of misunderstanding with oil, like shorting 25 barrels or saying that somebody went long on Sunday, and then like, oh, I get completely filled short. Basically, a few weeks ago, there was a gap that was going through 55 to 61, if I'm not mistaken. If you can pop up an oil chart, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, of course. Hang on, I got it. All right, let me.
It's
Yeah,
fine.
here's US oil right now.
Yeah, so I think it was around mid-September. It was like 55. I remember I went long Friday, and then it gapped to 62. 55, 62. There was a gap. Um, and so many people popped with it long when I know for a fact that everybody was looking to short that shit. And the funniest thing about that is that I only know about a handful of brokers that would guarantee you a stop if you were at 55. So I'm a little bit conditioned to think that they got completely wiped on that candle. But yeah, it was a funny one. That's basically one of those things that many people consider oil.
Yeah, because I'm looking at the ETF right now. Right around that date, we had like a huge gap up on the ETF. It gapped up from
Yeah.
17 all the way to 21. You would have gotten wrecked.
So I trade CFDs because unfortunately, due to my residentship right now, which is being sorted out, I don't have access to trade all the futures contracts that I would like to. So I
Mhm.
mostly have to go to CFDs. But yeah, I could only imagine people are getting absolutely wrecked. So it was hilarious. Um, I don't know. Traditional markets for me work mostly on the 4 hour time frame. I don't necessarily scalp them. So it's a couple of trades in a year. Basically, that's it. I
What's
wasn't a
your
gold.
thoughts on silver and gold right now? Because I feel like they're about to reverse. I did like a great trade this year on silver.
Well, with silver, those people that were from my Twitch knew I was long from 1478, basically
Beautiful.
from June, and gold was basically SPX is my worst trade this year. Not worst trade because I traded like a Dumbo, but because I missed it. So it was 7th or 3rd of January. I remember that because I was completely drunk and I needed to go long that day, but I didn't. Um, and basically, yeah. So there were two trades that I've meant to be holding for the entirety of this year. It was a gold long. I was going. When did BTC completely shit its bed? Was it like late November, early November, somewhere around there? So that's what. Yeah.
Bagsy, one thing I did to fix my mic and everything to where like I stopped having problems with like hearing was I hooked up like my mic thing, my headphones or whatever, to my speaker slot. I don't know. That ended up fixing up everything I was having issues with. Yeah. Don't know if that'll help. Yeah, can you hear me?
Sure.
So yeah,
Ace, can you
Bagsy.
hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good. So
All right.
let's continue. Yeah, basically, whenever I'm trading traditional markets, it's mostly going from 4 hour time frame. I don't necessarily consider myself as a lower one, but gold was really just a long and with immediate correction that is going to take place. I don't think that gold and silver will be a very good trading environment for the next months and a half. We are right on the brink of maybe correcting most of the uptrends that we had since May. And if that is going to happen, the corrections typically, yeah, that's really all I have to say about gold. interesting place, but not necessarily where I would trade with my edge
Do you,
right now.
do you think SPX or whatever is looking a little toppy, or you think it's just going to end up recovering?
SPX, yeah, no trade zone for me. It's right now it's correcting upwards. Basically, whenever you have a strong trend, it's very fine for the market to correct upwards. I think that is going to be continued as long as it's not getting below 2.7k. I'm not necessarily concerned, which I know is going to be a pretty wide gap for where you're going to make a decision. But if you're not forced to trade the chart, I guess you can wait. But yeah, essentially, if I will go over an SPX chart on the daily time frame, I can show you that it's always doing this upward sloping corrections, which is to be expected in a strong trending environment. People consider that corrections can only happen as dips during uptrend, but you don't necessarily have to get those; they can be upward sloping as well. So yeah, that is the expectation for SPX. Right now, it's the first. It's interesting because wait, let me check. So for my broker on Oanda, we actually had a lower high at 3K28.
Hmm.
So it didn't make a higher high and higher low, and that's correct, and it made a lower high, which is a little bit considerate. Yeah, still, as long as it's 2.8K is the last low, as long as it's hanging around there, I'm fine with my presumptions that it's going to continue upwards correction.
All right, so everyone can hear me now, I think. But yo, what's up, Wictus? What's up, Batman, Maka, everybody? Shazbot, I miss you guys. It's good to see you. But yeah, so like my observation on SPX. Again, I'm not very fundamentally educated in that sector. Just VPVR wise, if we were able to break up past that 294 level again, like 295. I think there'd be more of a reason to actually get into a long. Whereas if we were to see some rejection there, I think I'd target the POC at like 272, right where that May 31st, around that level again. But to be truthful, I mean, I think as long as Trump is in office, this is going to keep going until it doesn't. That's going to be a crazy fucking. That's going to be a crazy cycle to observe. What kind of impact do you think that's going to have on your family and friends? Do you think it's going to be immediate? AP? I ask AP because I don't know where you're from, but it's not the States. Do you think there's going
Yeah,
to be some type of.
well, I'm currently being a complete vagabond, so I travel around Europe, and I don't necessarily have a place
that's
of
great.
residence, so I don't know how much impact it will have for me. That being said, the original interest that I've took into the markets was because my dad lost almost everything in 2008. So yeah, I mean, if you're talking about SPX crashing, I mean, what worse can happen? But Trump's, I don't know, I just want Trump in the office for 4 more years just because of the tweets.
Yeah.
Exactly. You want that volatility.
Kofefe, Wolfefe, all that stuff. It's hilarious. It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, his recent one about wisdom and being all powerful leader, I was like, oh man, this is good. This is gold.
In my unmatched and unparalleled wisdom,
Yeah.
in my great
No.
intelligence,
No.
I was
all
like,
of you
wow.
subordinates
Wow.
shall listen to me and bend to my will.
I was
Please
like, oh
press
my
the
God.
Wow.
green button on SPX.
What a cloud. What a cloud. I
What do
actually
you mean?
have him blocked on Twitter.
Really? Why? He's very entertaining.
What do you mean a clown? He's fucking amazing. Like if I would be a president, that's exactly what I would do. Completely troll the entire world. The entire
He got me the other day with the
I-
photograph video with Nickelback and everything, and I was like, wow, he's a memester.
Yeah.
hilarious. Absolutely
And
hilarious.
Nickelback fucking copyrighted it. So stupid, man. They
Nickelback
actually.
doesn't want that.
It's stupid, though. That's the best publicity they're ever going to get. Literally. In this day and age, Nickelback is nothing. But if the president of the United States, who happens to be the biggest. What did you call him, AP?
Troll? Ever?
Troll, yeah, sure. The biggest troll in the world fucking sends a tweet about you. You don't like call your copyright company like, hey,
Nah, I think it's a
he's
publicity stunt in its
infringing on
own.
my
I think it's a
rights.
publicity
You
stunt
let
on
it
its own that
go.
you copyright striked it. Since I mean, wasn't it the same with Kim Kardashian? She made like
You're
some,
right.
some
Mm,
so like she made that bodywear
mhm.
company something called Kimono, which is completely unapologetic towards anybody with Japanese heritage, and it just
Mhm.
generated negative publicity, which was fine to attract people. So I think it's the same stunt here. Like, hey, we've copyrighted this. Nickelback strikes back. They can play victim for a few days, and then they're gonna be like, "Oh my god, Trump is so mean. Buy my album. Buy my album." Everything. So.
Dude, this is. I'm looking at Seal right now on Huobi. This thing won't stop, man. I don't know if you've seen this shitcoin, if you ever trade on Huobi or whatnot, but this thing is stupid. Someone mentioned it in chat, so I had to pull it up. But do you know Pierre Crypto?
I do not.
AP?
I do not.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, he's been tweeting about this shit for like weeks now. I'm tired of it. He was right, and this thing already ran like what 1,200% from the bottom. Sorry, 960.
Okay.
Yeah,
Crazy.
he's been
And
talking
there's a
about this one
gap. There's
forever.
a volume gap all the way up to. Dude, this shit could ride another 250%, and there'd be no resistance at all. Crazy. Anyways, I'm not suggesting anyone buy this shit, but that's just
But just buys this shit, right?
crazy.
Uh,
Yeah, exactly. And send me my 10%. Yo, actually, I want your guys' opinion on XRP, BTC, and USD, if possible.
Are you still in a position, Bagsy?
I want to see what you guys think. The high 2000s, but I cut. As I was saying, like I cut my position at like 34.10.15, and I reopened half of it around 32.90 something. And I'm gonna wait on the other half. Here, I'm not really comfortable re-entering. Yeah. Have you been trading Ripple at all, you two?
Ripple is the biggest letdown for me this year. So yeah.
Really? So you're
I'm on
staying
that.
away from it?
I'm on that same boat.
Mhm.
I think it was 24th of April. So 24th and 25th of April, I've made a tweet and I've pretty much caught the bottom in XRP. The issue is that the pumps that XRP has done wasn't something that you can actually compare to what BTC or ETH has done. So for
Mhm.
me, even though I made profit and profit-wise it was around 60% in the position, the issue
Mhm.
is it just wasn't worth it in terms of allocation of capital. It would be better off
Mhm.
spent with a good margin long in Ethereum or BTC. And this is one of the things that you've got to, when you become consistently profitable, you don't really look as a trader towards making
Mhm.
profit because you know you will make profit, but to actually allocate your capital the best way and to make the most profit out of the trending environments that are going to happen. So this is one of the things where I was so vocal about ETH, BTC. Don't necessarily go fucking long on it in February if you can't time it. It's better off holding BTC, and it has been true for the entirety of the uptrend. Yet people
Mhm.
say like, "Hey, I bought Ethereum at 100 and it went to 350. Yeah, guess what? You could buy BTC at 3.5k. And where did it go? Oh, it actually made more money than Ethereum.
Yeah.
What are you fucking talking about?" Like, so yeah, Ripple. Right now, it's a good buy on USD. So I've generally tried to sway a little bit away from.
Yes, that's what I like to hear, AP.
No,
What's
it's a
that?
good buy. Like structurally, if I would have to put a structure on it, it's very likely that it's going to revisit 56 cents. I'm actually serious right now, so it can double. Like I have to say that. If you go to silver and you overlay it over XRP chart, you can see the similarities, the same fucking
Mhm.
setup.
Really, huh? Okay, I'm gonna put silver on the
You
weekly.
said 56 cents?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude. I was looking at like 50, 5,400 sats is my target, I think, something like that.
I was thinking like maybe maxed out like 40 cents up here, but hey, if it hits 56, that means it's breaking out altogether.
I don't think it's breaking out altogether. It's just going to establish a trading range in between 28 and 56 cents, in my opinion. But if you would look where XRP has topped out in June, I think it was. Let me remind myself because my memory is.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, sorry. I remember making some good money on XRP when I was at Consensus in May, like May 10th to the 12th. It went from 4,000 sats to like 5,900, I think, something like that. I remember
Yeah.
longing that shit, and that was like the bottom, pretty much, from what I remember. I'll check BTC. Like, did you want BTC or USD?
Me back then, USD. I don't really care. I don't care BTC charts. I suck
Yeah.
at trading BTC charts. I don't trade altcoins. I've completely gave up on that. I was trying to do that during January 2017. It was the only profitable time where I actually had that, as everything was pumping. After that, when I tried to trade it around May 2018, I was so rinsed on the parts that I was putting into altcoins that I just was like, okay, my strong side is trading USD pairs, it's trading BTC, so I'm going to focus on that, and that's pretty much what it is. I almost solely trade BTC right now on margin from cryptos.
That's
Ooh,
how I am right
interesting.
now. All I do is just trade Bitcoin, USD pairs. I kind of just stay away from like the whole Bitcoin pairing.
It's a little bit fucked. Also, I don't know, but for me, the fact that you would always have to pay for a market order in order to get your position filled, and then also the fact that you can, like, I can be in one position with BTC, and then let's say I'm day trading on Forex or something. If I see some positions, really my focus is in between 2-3 positions, but it's mainly towards BTC where the largest position is. If I'm trading all of these altcoins, I don't have enough. I'm not Julius Caesar. I don't have enough multitasking ability to keep mind about all the bags. So it just doesn't work for me. It's too spread.
Julius Caesar. This is the first time I've had someone make a Julius Caesar comparison. I appreciate that one.
Hey, it's a history lesson today. We started with Otto von Bismarck. Now we're going to Julius Caesar. Who knows what's going to happen?
You're one educated fellow.
Yeah, Bagsy's always dropping Icarus and stuff.
Oh man, have you guys read any Greek mythology growing up, or did you ever have those classes where you had to take it?
Playing God of War counts?
Yeah. What about Assassin's Creed?
Yeah, exactly.
No, I was a fan of Greek mythology,
yeah.
but like as a kid, it was cool. Sub gentleman, hello JBax86.
Yo.
I seriously wanted to.
Yeah, what's up,
I wanted to
J-Bag?
get. I want to rename my Twitch
You
to
want to
like
get
TBag69.
to what?
Rename my Twitch to TBag69 and start streaming there, but no.
I'd listen.
How
You're
do you?
not, you're not going into my stream,
But yeah,
so.
What platform do you like better? Do you like Twitch or do you like YouTube more?
Well, I used to stream on Twitch when I got banned on YouTube, and that was a very, very unfortunate event. Basically, I was chilling out with friends, and I was doing an unlisted stream, so only for friends, and I was live scalping on BitMEX, and basically it was Champions League at the same time. So I have this setup where I have a secondary screen as a TV next to my trading setup, and I unfortunately clicked display for the Champions League match. So it doesn't take a genius to realize that I got copyright strike, something like that, for a few months. I will be coming back to YouTube though, and the only reason why I'm coming back to YouTube is maybe wider appeal because Twitch is a little bit more niche, with so probably that. But yeah, I also personally prefer.
Shit, and I'm having that. Yeah, that's a good point. What?
You're cutting out.
Yeah,
Matthew.
Yeah,
I
you're
think there's a
lagging a little
delay
bit.
on the stream. Whatever I say comes out a few seconds later. Oh shit. Oh well.
Are you in
About that,
Google
boys,
Hangouts
because
or are you
I
on your own?
yeah no I just fixed it. Sorry about that. Yeah.
All right.
Sorry, keep going, AP. My bad.
Yeah, I completely forgot what I was talking about. Oh, the streaming platforms, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was talking about that. Yeah, YouTube. I also prefer it from customer experience because you can actually roll back if you started live streaming, so somebody can go and start watching if he missed a part of the stream, which you don't have an opportunity to do on Twitch until it finishes and it saves as a VOD. So that is also a pretty handy option, is that it has. So for me, YouTube probably takes a lead in terms of the platform compared to Twitch. Because if I wasn't into gaming at one point in my life, I wouldn't know about Twitch, honestly. Like it never really
Mhm.
went and compartmentalized all those YouTube blogs, vlog styles. It just became a gaming outlet, which it is, and masqueraded webcam hosting also. But yeah, um,
That's a good point. Yeah, I'm kind of torn between YouTube and Twitch. I know. I know. I think yeah, Ace, you're trying to get me on YouTube more as well.
I used to get more
I'm
viewers
fucking
on YouTube.
considering it.
I used to get more viewers on YouTube when I was streaming, even though I had less followers on Twitter back then. So I used to get around 50, 60 viewers per
Huh.
stream. And on
Mhm.
Twitch, I get 30-ish, 40-ish sometimes. So, and that despite the fact that my following has grown like 3K, so basically 2x
Doubled.
since that time.
Yeah.
So yeah. I don't know if
Is
those are
that a goal of yours?
sleepers to grow followers or anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
What I mean? Not really. I mean, I'm very fine in that position where I like those people that I interact with, and I like the content that I'm putting up. It's having no pressure for me. The only reason why would you really want to get followers is maybe if you would want to monetize it, but I don't really know how you would want to monetize it. So yeah,
Why do you do it then? Like, what does it do for you that
streaming and everything.
makes you want to share that? Or streaming, just your content, what you post. Like, what's your reason?
I'm an egomaniac. Well, jokes aside, it just kind of started on its own. So the whole thing kind of went through it. So it was, who was that guy? Yeah, it was the guy called Financial Freedom, '07. Basically, back when
Mhm.
CME futures were getting introduced, he was the one saying like, "They're gonna fucking make it short. Get out of BTC." And um, he was one of those people that actually shorted the top, unlike many people say that they shorted the top. And originally, Twitter was there because I was talking with him. I was mainly trading oil and gold at that point of time. He was getting into crypto, and I was like, okay, I will get into crypto as well to trade more actively because before that, I was only exposed to non-margin trading platforms, which, due to the amount of the capitals that I had, didn't really provide me the returns that I wanted to, but I want to have some allocation to BTC. So I bought a couple. Basically, long story short, when BitMEX became hype, I joined back then, and that's where the entire content started to pump through. Because I've seen people share some stuff that they don't understand, basics going through, and it kind of became a little bit of stuff where I wanted to help out, but at the same time, I didn't really want to tell people to mind their own business. And it's kind of in that way. But
Mhm.
the unfortunate event is that crypto Twitter, it's a very, very small space. And the market is very, very, very small space. It's also not deep as somebody would want to consider. If somebody wants to become a fucking professional trader and make money out of this, yes, there is enough ability to, I guess, become a millionaire. But can you really scale this into a legitimate business or legitimate fund that you trade with the liquidity that's already available in the markets? Questionable. So like crypto is a very shallow space, what I'm getting to. So I don't necessarily know if there is any growth to go through it. It's just one of the things that I'm doing just because I can be more productive with my time and it needs some outlet. In a way.
Fair enough. I know a few people who have gone from, trading on Twitter, whatnot, to managing a fund. So it's possible. It's just unlikely.
Look, I mean, I've done, for example, so you can go to my Twitch and there were live screenings. So from May to June, I was staking a 50K account and I finished off that trading challenge at 125K. So it was completed and it's recorded. But the thing is, when you're getting towards it, it's one thing that you're trading. I don't know how I can scale the strategies that I currently employ for a bigger amount of money that is going to be under management. Like it doesn't scale.
It doesn't work.
It probably wouldn't. So I wasn't put into the conditions to try it, but at the moment, with observing how liquidity moves, I probably wouldn't be able to. So anything above like 500,000 with leverage. You also need to understand how fucking protecting your downside risk works, because many people are like, oh yeah, I shorted BTC at 10.3K, and then you realize they barely shorted about 1x leverage, and they basically hedged their entire stack. So they don't understand that if your balance is fucking 10 BTC in BitMEX and you short 12 BTC, you don't make profit on 12 BTC, you make USD profit on 2 BTC.
2, yeah.
So it's just fucking clusterfuck. With some people going through. I generally have no idea what I'm going to be doing with my Twitter. The only things that I will definitely be doing is that I will probably do some sort of a trading course, not because I want to make money out of it. It will probably be free besides a few things that are going to be there. But there's a lot of basic stuff that you go through when you're trying to learn about trading, and I think anybody can attest to that. But when you're starting to trade, you don't necessarily understand the language. You don't know where to start looking for. There is no thing as like trading starts at point A.
That's true. It's
Or
there's no well, there is like trading for dummies, those books they made, but it doesn't like it's hard to start. Absolutely.
So that's one thing that has to be understood. There are some basics that have to be placed, and there are some correct definitions that have to be placed within too. The other thing that people don't understand is fucking skepticism. So I'm an Elliott wave trader, but I wouldn't say that I'm an Elliott wave trader by Proctor and Frost definition. Or the problem that not many people understand is that you have to come with a little bit of a scientific method, and you need to understand that most of your trading is going to be presented by data that you're going to process. And if you're able to understand the variables and the data that there are to get some sort of an edge, get some sort of a profitable return, you can use the data. The problem with most of the learned or taught TA in the books is that it's massively outdated. You're not even given the sample size. So they're saying, okay, the market advances always in 5 waves. Here are 4 examples. 4 examples out of how many? Over which time span? Like you are unable to answer all those questions, which are very which need to be answered if you preface a book with something like wave theory is a fractal-based theory that is true for all aspects of life and all charts that you will ever encounter. So I mean, like you have to do that.
It's like, let me show you Tron.
Sure.
Should I? No, I just mean like show me an Elliott wave count on that shit. Like, not everything's a wave, is what you're saying.
No, what I'm saying is that basically, what Elliott has himself described when he was looking at the chart. So we're talking about Ralph Nelson Elliott, Nature of Law, his book. He was like, okay, the market has 2 conditions. It's trending and it's ranging. Do you agree with that presumption?
Yes.
Okay. So then he looked at the chart and he said, it seems like corrections take most of the time and they seem to repeat. You would also agree with that presumption?
Yeah.
So he had then separated those corrections into continuation patterns and into reversal patterns. Also, very agreeable point. He has really never went into 5 and 3 waves definitions. He was just talking about those continuation patterns being right, and then the trending pieces have to be respected as trending pieces. It's basically trend following vocabulary. Then there was Proctor and Frost, who wrote Elliott wave stuff and labels and all that. Unfortunately, that book is probably responsible for for the biggest amount of people losing their money out of all the other academic TA books that were
Really?
made. Well, because look, if you read through that book, there is no understanding of how to form a setup, how to trade, what is the risk expectancy, what is the risk management. You're trading your analysis, you're trading your expectations of the market, because Elliott wave is a predictive model. It's not necessarily a reactive model. It's much better to react of the market.
Mhm.
And if you're trading your assumptions, but you don't have basis from which you're formulating those assumptions, and you're given an outdated book which doesn't give you enough sample size to make an argument for yourself, well, it sounds like a recipe for disaster. In my head, at least. There was a guy called Glenn Neely afterwards who decided, like, okay, I actually see some merit to Elliott wave, and he was like, okay, I need to look at what Elliott has done. I need to find how I can formulate setups, and I need to make a trading system out of it. And then his system completely morphed. He started calling it Neo Wave because he didn't really want to do stuff with Proctor and Frost,
Mhm.
and it went a little bit separately. But there are a result of good stuff that can get towards it. In my opinion, if your directional bias is really like, okay, there is a swing high here which should provide liquidity, and there is a swing high over there that should provide the liquidity, and you don't know what you can use as a directional part of your system, wave analysis would be beneficial to anybody to look at. So, and once you start to recognize those continuation patterns, you can go through. Like, I don't really want to give my Twitter as an example, but if you will go there, since mid-August, it was very apparent what the pattern is going to fucking be. And it was playing out the exact same way. And I'm not talking about, hey, it's gonna drop. Everybody fucking knows that it's gonna drop.
Which chart is this? So I can.
Yeah, you can probably go lower. So
Okay.
if you go lower, so go above. Actually,
Yeah.
this chart, you see October 7th. You can see
Okay.
that.
Yeah, sure. With the
No,
the
come
pink.
back, come back, come back, come back up with pink. Yeah. You're lagging on Twitch a little bit for me, so
Yeah, there's always a delay. Yeah.
yeah. So this is mid-August. Then you go back towards the next part,
Okay.
and you can see that it's all goes through. That pattern, well, we know what happened afterwards. It's basically the same stuff going through.
Mhm.
It's not like
So
you're
to
forfeiting this entire idea.
right.
Yeah.
So to recap for someone listening in right now, if someone wants to learn about Elliott waves in the way that you think is most useful, what book should they start with?
Probably Mastering Elliott Wave by Neely. That is a good book. That is a good book to start through. Yeah. There is also a last tweet. You don't need Elliott. You don't need Elliott. You don't need anything. I'm just saying that if you don't have part of your system that is going to be based on directional bias, you might want to consider picking up Elliott. That is the argument. I'm not saying that it's something that you need to have to.
Well, thank you. Yo, Ace, have you ever studied Elliott or used Elliott waves in any way?
I have friends that like trade with it, and I'll toss ideas with them, but not by myself. I just don't understand it enough to use it, or I have something else that I use in place of it.
Mhm. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, whichever strategy you're going to use, it takes time to put it together. So it doesn't matter if it's Elliott waves, Ichimoku, price action, as long as like you put enough time in front of the chart and you take enough trades and study it well enough.
I really like what AP said
There,
in the beginning.
about how if you're a profitable trader, you know you're profitable. It's just a matter of finding the right kind of trades that are going to be good trades for you. I love that.
It depends. I mean, look, it's the problems that many people jump into, and I have never fucking encountered that anywhere besides CT, and I'm not kidding you. So, most traders that have actually have a little bit of this, I don't know, humbleness aura around them. But the thing is, everybody's fallen into an idea is that if I'm profitable and I'm extracting money from the market, there is some noise that I can go through. Okay.
What's that, AP?
Yeah, sorry. There was some
Okay.
noise going through on
Oh,
somebody's
okay,
end.
okay.
Yeah, I was basically getting towards the fact that many traders consider that because they are profitable, it's only their system works, and that is just not how the way that market goes through. It's not mutually exclusive. So it's only in crypto Twitter where I started to encounter if it's like, okay, my system works. It's the only right way that it's going to look through. If you're not looking at that stuff, you're going to be completely broke, virgin, and everything forever that you can find out. Like, yeah, I don't know.
The culture is kind of backwards.
It's shit.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. I don't know. I think that if enough people don't do that, then there's at least a sane portion to CT.
Meh.
I like to think, anyways.
Meh. I don't know. It's it's hilarious. It's just, for fuck's sake, like some people are, I don't know. If there is some advice that I can give to anybody listening right now, if you want to become better at trading, fucking think for yourself. Like that's the
Yeah.
best advice that I can give you. It's literally there are a few mistakes that everybody is going to encounter, but unfortunately, unless you're going to experience yourself, you're not going to value those lessons. And that's coming from somebody stubborn and self-confident as I am. So yeah, definitely something that you have to go through in terms of market maturity, especially in crypto, because I don't think many people start. They've got really big ups during 2017, maybe some 2018 altcoin runs, but they didn't really respect money during that because it really came easy, and they expect every winning trade to be as easy as it was before, which is just not the market conditions that you're going to be in.
That's true. Yeah, 18 was there was a big learning curve for me, but it was good. Plus, I'm good with money, so it's like I've never really misallocated assets in such a way that I kill myself.
Yeah,
But yeah.
see, with me, it's another way. I'm completely horrible with money. I always spend it, so I have to make more money in order to dig myself out of the hole.
Yeah, I like that.
That's what I am. That's living the good lifestyles. Have to keep up with it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's funny. Yeah,
I
well,
spend
I
all
mean,
my
it
money
doesn't
on
mean
food.
food, dude. Most of my money's on food as well. What about you, AP?
sorry, I completely
Is
missed
it the Ace of Spades?
Ace of Spades.
Oh, I
Clubbing?
would say, yeah. Is that where most of your money goes? Or
Oh, dude, it
traveling,
depends.
probably.
It depends. Travel in a bit. But Europe isn't that expensive, so it's not necessarily a problem back then. Renting has also really dropped. And
Okay.
the fact is that most of my benchmarking for euro prices has gone when I was studying in Switzerland, in Zurich, and this is one of the most expensive places in Europe that you can go to, maybe like only contrasted by London. So I had been baptized by fire in that occasion. But yeah, everything compared to that is cheaper. Most of my money, I don't even know where it fucking goes. It's just like, oh, I like those shoes. Like it's hilarious because so there was one girl staying over, and she was like, Jesus Christ, you have more bags and more shoes than I have, and it's a fucking problem. It's a
Hey
problem.
man, you like to look good. Nothing wrong with that.
I can't even wear all of that stuff. I don't know. I just buy. It looks good. I get that stuff.
Feels good. Yeah.
I don't know. It depends. I was basically in 2008. I was going through an interesting part in my life because I've already alluded to the fact that my dad lost most of his money during that period, and I was in my very early teens back then. So I guess people can pinpoint my age around the brackets. But I really remember that point of time where where it was going through that. We didn't necessarily have money at home, yet I would have a wardrobe and I would have an outfit which would cost around a few grand being a kid, which is not always that you should go through money. So I had a good lesson back there, but I don't know, didn't stick apparently. No one has more bags than Bagsy apparently. I like this commentary. Bagsy, you have more bags than me, right?
Fuck, man, not really, dude. But I guess the name I have to have a bunch of bags, but no, I doubt. I got a gym bag and I got a backpack. Those are my fucking bags, bro.
Sounds like a plan.
It's a simple life, my friend, but it's a beautiful one. Yo, if anyone at home has any questions for Ace or AP and myself, drop it in the chat. First of all, I appreciate everyone who's tuning in right now. It's always good to have you guys on here. Tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., I'll be back on stream with some really cool peeps, and we're going to talk about some fundamental analysis, what makes a project valuable, actually important
come on.
questions.
Oh, come on. Nothing
Yeah,
makes a
come
project
on,
valuable.
bro, let's go. But yeah, so we got Charisma, we got a senior analyst from eToro, and we got the CMO from LTO Network, a friend of Charisma's, and it's gonna be pretty fucking cool.
Have you played Stanley Parable?
Stanley, what? So what's that?
Stanley Parable, the game Stanley Parable.
No, what is that?
No,
I gotta
okay.
look this up. Hold up.
I've sent you a Twitter link towards my post. I was playing that game and then I busted out laughing because that happened to me.
Oh yeah. Okay, hold up. Is it in my DMs or is it?
No, I've in Hangouts probably.
Oh, in Hangouts. Okay. In the chat, right? Yeah, here. Yeah. Say Stanley Parable then. As it is literally just standing there doing sweet FA. That's funny. Dude, what kind of game is this? Is it like Myst or some shit?
It's hilarious one. It's basically you're an office worker and
Mhm.
you are given tasks and you have to go and then basically there is a narrator that is narrating all your decisions. But
Mhm.
it's hilarious. It's hilarious. It's completely hilarious. If you ever wanted to be completely rinsed by somebody talking over, that is a game to go to. That is an experience. And since you wanted to give your mask to your girlfriend to have an intercourse with, I really suggest you to play Stanley Parable because that will be a similar experience.
Alrighty then. I won't lie, it's kind of hot. Like, if you put it on at some point, I was like, fuck. But I don't know if I could do it. It's kind of weird. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I don't know. Just get
Are
a
you
scorpion mask and
sure?
be like, get over here.
Yeah, nice. That'd probably hurt my palm a lot. Yeah, yo, Ace, how's Silver doing right now? Are you still messing with it?
Yeah, I'm still in silver calls or whatever. So they're doing all right. I was debating on getting some more, so I am just chilling on that one. I still have ones that expire in about 10 days, so debating if I want to exit them or what I want to do with them.
Beyond Meat. What other AP? What other quote unquote friends do you have in the Twitter space that
Oh, I don't have
are?
friends. That's a complete lie with my Twitter handle.
Fair
So I don't have friends, so nobody calls me AP.
enough.
Jokes aside, I don't know. I guess CryptoMD is the closest one that I would call a friend in terms of crypto
Mhm.
Twitter circuit. Other than that, I was talking with Shadow a lot. Crypto Shadow. I'm not sure if you know him.
Yeah, he's cool.
So Crypto Shadow, Crypto AMD, those guys mainly. And besides that, not really much. Limitless, we used to talk a little bit, but we're not really keeping it up right now.
Mhm.
So that's about it. I'm a loner, I guess so.
Oh, thanks for coming out of your shell and coming on tonight.
Oh yeah, sure. It's all about wine.
Yeah, it's the one.
I mean, I'm
Dude,
completely.
I had a glass of red earlier.
I'm almost completing this
Mhm.
bottle right now, so I might have to go for 1 minute and get.
Grab another.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
of course. Maybe I have something else downstairs that I could bring up as well. Yo, Ethereum better go to Valhalla from here.
I don't know. You have a friend in LA. Oh yeah, New York lifestyle. It's hilarious. A guy called New York lifestyle types to me, "You have a friend in LA." Okay.
That's funny. The man from everywhere. Yeah, someone earlier asked, like why do you sorry, how do you guys compare benefits of stream views versus writing an article and getting views that way? Anyone want to take that question?
Well, I don't know. I've never really written an article, so I can't really compare how
Hmm.
views are going to be generated on the views
Benefits,
platform. Plus, writing is a skill that you really need to develop. It's one thing that you sit in front of the screen, you're always stuttering like I am, and people are still listening to you because it's back stream. But the other thing is when you actually have to write it, and yeah.
yeah, I think the benefit is you capture the people who. That's a whole other, it's just
Then you
another
type in
faculty
Braille.
that you're using.
I don't know. I think that the writing platform, the article platform, has really transitioned into podcast space. So, really don't know there is much market share for articles. I know that few people are going to newsletters now. It seems like a hot news thing. So, private trading journal and articles is a way to go to monetize your presence. But yeah, I'm not really sure. In my opinion, written articles are more time consuming towards the person who is actually going to write them and towards the user to actually consume them. Now, the argument can be made about written articles being easy. You can type up a paragraph under a chart and get 100 views easy on TradingView. Yeah, but the problem with TradingView is how do you actually fucking monetize it? Like, I
Monetize
know
it. Yeah.
TikTok is a good one to go from right now. Yeah, maybe. Jesus Christ. I still have no idea what this fucking is.
Yo, greetings from Ireland. What's up, Crypto Dave? On
Dude, AP, what's your
Periscope.
favorite food?
Oh, from now on, I don't. It used to be seafood. From the past 2 weeks, I can't really say no more. Depends. Do you mean food as in a meal or as a cuisine?
We'll say both.
Okay. I really, when I was in Italy, there was a mushroom risotto that I've tasted in a family restaurant that was held with a glass of red wine. It was fucking fantastic. Was one of the best meals that I ever had. Very simple, very good. So I think I will give my first place towards that in the recent memory and cuisine. I'm not really sure. Probably. I don't know. I like Thai food. So I was in Thailand for one time in my life, but really enjoyed food there. It's funny because you can go from to a fancy restaurant or to a local place. There is going to be really little to no discrepancy in the flavor. I mean, quality of the products is going to be present there, but I mean, it's just as tasty as there it is. So yeah, maybe Thai, maybe. Yeah, I'll actually go with French as my honorary second, just where we have the cuisine.
The
So,
mushroom
what
risotto
about you?
sounds good.
That's good.
Um,
Three.
I would
Okay.
say probably for me. I mean, I love steaks, so any kind of good steak or any place that has good steak, I'm beyond happy with that or burgers. But if it was like an actual type of food, um, hmm, I don't mind Mexican food that much. That stuff's pretty good. What about you, Bagsy?
Um, I like oatmeal. I like sushi actually. I'm a
Oh,
big fish guy.
I've been dying for that real good sushi lately. I haven't had a chance to go down to like the city or anything to grab any.
How big is
Yeah.
sushi in US? Because I'm really interested. So I was originally I was born in Eastern Europe, and like wherever you go in Eastern Europe, sushi is a big thing. So we either have fucking pastas everywhere or sushi. Like sushi is everywhere. Like low cost sushi, expensive sushi, fucking sushi everywhere. You would think that Eastern Europe has some sort of a sea next to it, but it doesn't. So it's completely hilarious. Maybe that's a part of an allure, but I'm not sure. So is it really that big in US? Was the whole sushi thing?
Yeah,
Sushi's massive
a
now.
lot of people now. I think now's more so. More people in the U.S. are like all about sushi because they're like, oh, it must be healthy because it's organic and things like that. So it's starting to get a little bit more of a trend.
I guess. Because here it was a trend like 10 years ago, and it's really surprising that it just picked up so much. Like there are two trends in Eastern Europe. It's shisha places and it's sushi places.
Yeah, shisha places, yeah, that stuff picked up so big. Good old credit in his shisha.
Yeah, like in Canada as well, shisha's a thing, and yeah, sushi of all kind, like the really expensive one and then the cheaper one. But yeah, Canada has some pretty good fish as well, especially on the eastern side. But yeah, I could do sushi any day of the week, man. Any day of the week, seriously. Fuck, I actually have some pie in the fridge. I might tackle that after this. Yo, what do you guys think about Pivx? This shit looks pretty good to me. It's a shit coin,
I
don't get
don't
me
look at
wrong.
altcoins at all. Okay, PIVX, Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Like, if there is one thing that I would like to
Mm,
discuss from fundamental
mm.
perspective, sorry, just one point that I'm going to say. Like in 2017, when I was watching fucking altcoin charts, I was always considering like, even with how stupid the market cap works, because it's just outstanding times the last price, right? Outstanding supply times the last price it was transacted at. If you're looking at those coins and they would be like a coin that wants to do this in sector Y. The problem is, bless you, the problem is that that coin would actually have a bigger capitalization than the sector it wants to go into. Like from fundamental perspective, it made no fucking sense. If there was ability to short altcoins in 2018, I don't even know if you can be a sextillionaire or something like that. But like there was an infinite amount of money to be made back then in 2017. It was insane. Anyway, sorry, get towards your point. Pivx? Hello?
Yeah, but that's a good point, man. The market's definitely maturing, so that's not happening anymore, as much at least.
Yeah, that's shitcoin perpetual swap thing on FTX, man. That's something else.
Is this pretty liquid?
Yeah. Once they get more liquidity, it'll be better,
Okay.
depending. But yeah, there's just like a huge volume gap up to like 8K. It's like 120, 30%. I wouldn't be surprised to see a scam wick on this coin.
I mean, Ace, I wasn't really following you on Twitter before, so I'm going to apologize for that. But from quick scan on your profile, it seems like you've traded options back then. So you've probably are familiar with long and volatility in traditional markets through options.
Yeah,
Is it
man,
really-
the VIX stuff, dude, that stuff's insane.
Yeah, but is there something like that available on FTX or being long gamma or anything like that?
Oh, Durbit does options like that. I've been really wanting to get into that stuff. But yeah, Durbit has something like that. Not necessarily against like the shit coins, just more so ETH, BTC, and I think Litecoin. But I think it's just ETH, BTC on Durbit.
I mean, because during consolidations, you could just fucking strangle and you just sit in your ass.
It's not that intense into it. It just had straight up calls and puts, no like spreads or anything like that yet. At least as far as I know. All I know is that Durbit does it, and they have like a shitty spread on it. I was just looking at them; they look terrible. But ETH isn't as bad, but Bitcoin options, man, those are expensive on there. I was actually just talking about that on stream. If I was like the best way to play them for me would be is trying to get a breakout. So if I had done option plays yesterday on them, that would have been great. But I really want to get into that and figure out how it works on the crypto end versus compared to like regular stock markets. Because I have so much fun on just options and regular. Like that's what I replaced like all the feelings that I had with altcoins in 2015 and 16. All that is replaced with options trading. I get those same numbers, if not more.
The adrenaline rush.
Yeah.
Leroy Jenkins, I like Haven. Fucking Haven, dude. Don't get me started on this project.
Yo, your money's so secure that you're never going to be able to recover your profits.
Yo, what a... I remember when this coin was touted on CT as like the next Jesus coming.
That's Thorough's coin. Where's Thorough been?
I don't know actually. He's been MIA is where he's been.
Yeah, got off probation and now he's just wild and gone.
Well, he went to he was in Austin not too long ago with a friend. That's the last I heard of him. Yeah. Thoreau, if you're out there, hope you're okay, man. Oh man. It's a fun trade. I mean, fuck. You think Haven's fun to trade? You're a special kid. This is just like pure downtrend since November of last year. Dude, some of these coins look terrible. Yeah. Fucking Stellite, Dero lost its life.
How do you actually find altcoins to trade? Because for me, it seems like they almost always have this phase when they don't move at all, and you really need to time them wisely in order to actually get the profit in place. So do you just look at the chart where it looks attractive, simple as that, or you actually look at the volume where it's picking up and then you're trading those that are already moving? Or
so you mentioned that you only watch the 4-hour chart. So like, you know, if
a little bit of a misquote. It's not necessarily that I only watch 4-hour chart, but you can have a signal generated from 4-hour or 1 hour. Like for BTC, the most reliable system for me is 1 hour generated.
Mhm.
But I can be looking at the entry on 5 or 15 minutes, so it's completely fine. It just that's an argument. I'm just getting towards the fact that if you're looking at most of this altcoins, as I can see on the weekly and on daily, how do you actually time those? Because if it's not moving for me, like I can't sit in that rate at all.
Are you able to like figure out like the sensitivity towards altcoins? Like some altcoins, whenever Bitcoin's bottomed out and moving upwards, will have a different type of sensitivity towards those kind of moves on Bitcoin versus when Bitcoin's moving down. Like that Pierre guy that Bagsy was talking about. Me and him were talking about that before. So like whenever Bitcoin is going in the trend that it was right recently, there's some coins that every time it would go down would barely go down. But then whenever Bitcoin would go back up and back to the upper range, those things would move 20, 30%. So,
Okay, so it's showing relative strengths, basically, what you're getting at.
yeah, that's one way. Or my other way would be is just off the 4 and 1 hour is just watching for those TK crosses on Ichi. But like you said, it does take a little bit more effort and
Okay.
time.
Do you have like some scanner where you manually actually do through that, or you're like?
Yeah, that would be Ichi. I would just basically look for stuff that's basically impending on TK crosses on the 1 hour and see
Okay.
how far they are on the 4 hour. Mostly the 1 hour sets up really nicely early. I'll show you some. Yeah, let me see if I can share my screen. Because I haven't done this in a while. Everybody's always like, "Oh, what are you doing with Ichi?" All right, of course it's gonna crash.
Ichi is a pretty good trend following system. I've never really got to study it. But...
I still tend to. I found myself more now still focusing on price action, but it's definitely fun to use if I'm using like it for a trend notification or something.
It's such a buzzword, price action. Everybody means different stuff by that, but yeah.
My Chrome froze.
Do you think really price action as a buzzword?
Well,
I
I
don't know.
mean, I don't say that it's a buzzword, that it doesn't mean anything. I just mean that everybody is putting
Oh.
their own definitions into that.
Buzzword in that sense,
Mm,
then like there
I,
wouldn't it be the same for price action? Pulled a bit.
So like here,
Yeah.
so the reason why I a little bit disagree with that notion, yeah, primarily when I think about price action trading, you think about considering the market in terms of levels of relevance and range bound trading, right? So mostly.
yeah, like so here's an example. Like I'm just pulling up something random right now on. This is on Huobi right now. Let me make sure I have the right settings on. So what I'll look for is like price action that does like something like this, where if I zoom out to the daily, it's this one just because I know we're gonna end up reaching the Kijun at some point. So I'll be looking for things that are either end up closing up with the cloud over here ahead of time, or things that are gonna do something like this where they end up reaching into the cloud. I'll miss out on some early gains, but once I get confirmation, hey, this is broken into the cloud, the trend is trending up, I'll end up looking for things like that. But this is just like a super quick scan. It works better on things that are more liquid. When they're illiquid, it ends up getting things like this where it's like broken cloud formations. But let me see if I can pull up something way better. XRP is probably a good example. Yeah, XRP is a much better example. So like XRP had like this giant ass downtrend on this Ichi cloud and then finally started reversing and coming back up and getting into the clouds. I mean, it's not that much of gains, but yeah, just like things like this, just the TK crosses that happen over here. I like playing. So it works out for some coins, more so in the daily and 4-hour aspect of things. Like the daily looks beautiful. This broke into the clouds. Should still have like your 56 target that you have on this one. I mean, just off like the ET for breaking out of wherever it's at right now puts us right at 41 from where we're at right now.
So relative to
Yeah.
prices, that would be, I guess, somewhere in the same place. if I'm not mistaken, and I'm being a complete idiot right now.
No, I mean your target is almost is a lot higher than where I would typically have it. So yours is like
I'm not, I'm
56.
not, I'm not saying that it's my target because I'm not necessarily in a trade. You need to understand that
Well,
target.
zone. Well, like the zone area that you're interested in. I'm using bad wording.
Yeah, I mean, let's see.
Yeah, it's
I
already
don't
getting that.
think that's a relevant point there. If there is one thing that I've generally noticed with Bitcoin pairs is that they really don't respect the levels which acted only one way. So what I'm getting towards, if you have a level which acted as support resistance,
Hmm.
that has been respected. But if it only acted as a support, it almost will never act as a resistance.
Yeah, it's true.
So that happens a lot of times.
Yeah, it's definitely in my trading journal.
Yeah, I mean, that is one thing. The other thing is that people really like to do, which I generally suggest people not to do, is to average out their position. Now, if you come from legacy markets, and Ace will probably attest to that, most of the times you're allowed to have multiple positions on the same contract that you trade. So, for example, you want to go long on gold, and you made a daily swing trade from, let's say, 1,250 in like January last year, right? And during that time, there were some consolidations during which you would want to enter your long position. But both of us understand that those positions would have their invalidation levels and their stop losses, right? If like that consolidation didn't go the way that you expected. Now in crypto,
Yeah.
if you add to your position already, your average is being brought up. And if you want to stop out of the positions that you have actually added, it won't return your average back down after you stop out that
Yeah.
size that you have added. So generally what I suggest towards people is that if you want to average on your trading position, it's just better to use either multiple accounts because let's face it, even on BitMEX, if you trade like above 150k sizes on futures, you are going to have a little bit of a spread. There is no reason to pay for the spread if it's just fixed by opening another account, since BitMEX doesn't KSC, and opening a different position there on the BitMEX prep as well. So that is one other tip that I would generally give towards people. So if you want to build like a position where you add to, it's better to use multiple accounts and use multiple contracts. Or one contract, that being said.
Yeah, that's like how when I was playing gold and I was longing gold at the same time, like whenever I thought gold was gonna end up possibly dumping, I don't know if you can see my screen, but I was playing Dust. This is an inverse ETF for gold. So whenever gold is going down, this goes up. So this went up a couple times, and it's very like it's one of these weird 3 times ETFs. So whenever the options play do go, they go heavy. So I've been having a lot of fun with this one. So like this one off like ET setup, like this is like a perfect example. Like the clouds finally dying down and we're starting to see some things. So the way this puts us at for me is like if this ends up popping and going up to $10, that means gold is going to be completely retracing a lot more than it's at right now.
Mm-hmm.
So
Looks good.
what's your
Actually,
opinion on Dust? I guess that's what my main thing is.
I agree. It should pop from the quick observations that I made from the chart. It seems like it should. Could you give me the ticker so I'm looking at it on my screen properly? Dust.
Yeah, Dust, DUST.
Okay. Dust. Mm-hmm. What's your opinion on indicators, guys? Because I think that everybody has different opinions. There are so many people with clean charts, and I
On
think
which one?
that just genuinely lagging, leading indicators altogether. I mean, you're already a Ichimoku trader, I guess.
I guess it's a matter of confluence. Like whatever like ends up. Ah man, that's a good question.
I think people can use them both in a way that they can make it work. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of lagging
Why not?
myself. it doesn't work well with me. I didn't find a way to utilize it properly.
I see. I mean, because for me, lagging indicators is one of the most useful things that I've actually ever encountered, and it's funny because most people could consider it the opposite way. Because the lagging indicator is really your confirmation. It's not your entry or exit signals that many people assume it's going to be.
And I think that's why I like Ichi so much, because it is a lagging indicator. I mean, I still don't have a good answer to answer your question too good. Because I guess I just use whatever is good for me. But the fact that Ichimoku is lagging a little bit, I tend to find it good in the sense of like finding extra support and resistances that I can't see straight off price action. So it really does help me, in my opinion. Live ones are a little bit more tricky because things can change really quick. So I'd rather have something that already has history on it that I can go off of. And another benefit of Ichi is I get to see a future historical reference based off of previous history. So it kind of makes a prediction for me ahead of time, but still stays in the parameters of like major supports and resistances. So yeah, that's a really, really good question. I don't even know how to answer that one. That's a great question for Cred, actually.
Yeah, I'll keep it for him.
Just write it down on a blank
Yeah.
piece of paper, ask Cred, open, and then there's a question.
Exactly. Like, man, what do you think? Do you have an opinion on the man?
Sorry, you completely lagged out, and I had no opinion.
I'm looking at Ripple right now. It's all good. Really? Yeah, let's not even talk about that. But
Yeah, like gold right now is in such a bearish
most times
setup
it's
for my Ichi.
from the phone, from the mobile application, like when they log into the Google Hangouts and shit. A disaster. Have you ever accidentally done that, AP?
Not this time.
Yeah, I'm think I'm lagging out a bit.
Yeah, you are. I mean, it's not that I necessarily care about being doxing out. Like back when I was stationed in Eastern Europe, I would be afraid to get doxed, just because it's fucking Eastern Europe. Like there was a lot of stuff going as well at the local place. Basically, his entire family was held hostage. So you don't necessarily want to get into the conditions where you get doxed, depending on where you're locale based. But like in Europe and the US, I guess it's not such a big issue, but like in Eastern Europe, it's fucking insane. Because you need to understand people are fucking desperate and they're not making money, and even if you make like 600 USD, you're like, oh my god, it's a monthly salary, literally, and it's a good one at that. So yeah. So if I would post something like I did on a Russian Twitter when I'm like, okay, I've made it like 3 BTC profit or anything, I would get fucking rinsed. Like people would start to wanting to dox me. So it's not something you would enjoy going through. And definitely, like you better shut up if you're in Eastern Europe. So glad that I left.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think the same applies anywhere, really. Like, just shut the fuck up. There's no point.
Yeah, I've really never heard about so many horror stories that were actually happening in Eastern Europe. Like in Asia, never really heard about some. Like there were big situations happening through, but I don't know. I've never really felt something like that. Because basically what happened with this guy at the instance, and it was documented in the newspaper. I think if I'll be able to type it up, but it's going to be in Russian. It's not going to be in English. His daughter, when she was going out of school, she was held at a gunpoint to be seated at the car to be driven and held hostage. like stuff like that is going through. And like I've never even heard anything remotely similar that was happening in the US. Like yeah, maybe some people will go through or try to beat you up or get your wallet on the phone if you're too stupid to have it on the phone.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. But yeah.
That's why I don't understand like when people like post photos of their like family and kids and stuff online. I'm like, you're wild and you're on Twitter doing this. Why?
Definitely not a good place to go through. Anyway, I will stop with the horror stories. But
Nah, keep it going, man. Let's
okay.
go. It's dark as hell.
I mean, you probably should
I like it.
you need to fit your mask better because probably those eye holes are going over your
Oh
eyelids. You
God!
can see it.
Don't tell me this. Retinal scan.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I don't know. It's a really fucked up place, honestly. Internet, it's interesting. It's also funny how internet is kind of developing its own culture. Like like you're sometimes sitting and somebody says "cacked" or like "wrecked," and you know that like like my boy, I know where you're hanging out. Like that stuff. It's interesting. It's kind of funny. I really want to go to Asia more because besides Thailand, I really wasn't in Asia at all, and see how like Japan, Korea was going through. A friend of mine, he was an exchange student in South Korea and Seoul, and he said it was one of the best experiences in his life. So probably I need to diversify my locale
Yeah.
of presence and go there for a bit. Maybe
Yeah.
after January.
Yeah, that's my goal. I want to get to Japan this year.
Oh, cool. Any particular reason why, or just like sushi?
No, not the food, not sushi food. There, I want to go there for food, but everything else, just the culture, just I like that
culture,
whole
huh?
scene and stuff like that.
I see. I see.
That's what you call it, Ace. The culture.
Jesus
Yeah, I'd
Christ!
love to go to Japan.
Massage
Has any-
parlors.
Has anybody played Persona 5? That game, completely weeb RPG. It's
No,
hilarious.
is it good?
A friend of mine was playing through it, and I was sitting next to him when he was playing it. I was dying of fucking laughter. Like I was bursting out into laughter every 15 minutes. It's so well written in English. Like it's actually well translated. It's hilarious. It's fucking hilarious. There is a talking cat. Like I don't know. You should just watch like Persona 5 cuts on YouTube and see if it's a game for you. Like you won't spoil yourself if you're watching for 5 minutes. It's fucking hilarious. It's just I don't know. It's so absurd. It's hilarious. Do you see that tits and fat? Okay, tits and fat.
Yeah, Fett looks alright. Pretty depreciated though. Fuck.
You know what you need to do, Bagsy? Everybody who has dogs themselves, you go to their Facebook profiles, and then and and leave the
Yeah.
chat, and then see what's going through. Like that would be a hilarious game.
Dude, what a lot of people on Twitter do that's stupid is they follow each other like on their Instagram accounts. So like technically if you go through their follower list, you can find out who they follow in IRL and just find out their IRL name. And it's like
Oh yeah, dude. Like there was an instance. So I'm not going to say who that was, but basically, somewhere last month. So I have a Discord, and there was a person joining, and I realized afterwards because the person had real life name that I actually knows that person in real life through friends. And I decided that I won't disclose, but I don't necessarily understand how that happened, and I still wasn't called out because they can hear my voice every single fucking day. But yeah, that is hilarious. Anyway, so if somebody wants to dox somebody, it's not really difficult. That's what I'm getting to. If you
Yeah.
can see what Dollar Fire has done with what's his face, Sean from Astro Effects, like Jesus Christ. It's like he hired the fucking Batman, the best investigator in the world.
Really?
to do that stuff.
That's like when people ask me because they see my name Hackerman Ace. They're like, "Yo, man, I got hacked by this exchange. Can you help me?" I'm like, "Yo, guys, I can maybe hack like I can hack like a Twitter account, but I can't hack like bank accounts and shit like that. I'm not a money account specialist."
Oh, yeah. Hacker man. Are you a Mr. Robot fan by any occasion?
Yeah, Mr. Robot
Mentioned.
was really, really good. I didn't even know they talked about Bitcoin until like after the fact. I was like, "What eCoin? That's just like crypto." But yeah, it was really good the first season. I didn't finish the last season, but it was really good.
Because like Hacker Man, I don't know. It's just that meme from Mr. Robot. And
Yeah, that's why I decided to change it. I was like, "Wow."
Really?
Yeah, because of the meme with the little guy with his hands crossed or whatever.
yeah, Hacker Man.
Yeah.
Okay. So to anybody who doesn't know what it is, I'm going to post a link if it's possible in the Twitch chat.
Yeah, sure.
Wait.
I'll put it up on my end too.
Yeah, go for it. Thanks.
This one, right?
And then somebody told me to watch the second one when you know the guy with the glasses on, that other Hacker Man one. So it's off Kung Fury or whatever. So they were like, "Yeah, man, you should watch the movie Kung Fury, dude. If you want to laugh, watch Kung Fury. That thing was hilarious."
Kung Fury movie?
Yeah, that's where like the other Hacker Man meme comes off from.
Uh,
It's like a stupid little clip, but it's enjoyable because it's so bad.
shall do.
Yo, you're a fucking trooper, AP.
What
You're
do you
like
mean?
you're not even yawning.
Why would I? Like, I told you my schedule is fucking fucked.
I don't know, man. Shit, I didn't know it was that fucked. You're running
I'm
on
fucking
Dracula
old.
time right now.
Plus, I've already told you, I have a bottle of wine next to me, which now I'm actually entering like the dangerous territory of last 4 sips. So if I'm not going to refill it, the chances are that in 15 minutes I'm going to start get mildly irritated, and that will turn into a passive aggressive stream. So I don't necessarily want to do that.
So we'll have to cut before that.
Uh,
Nobody likes passive aggressiveness.
What kind of wine do you like?
the one with alcohol.
So you're not picky.
No, I'm not picky. Like in Spain, it's hilarious because they don't necessarily have like champagne equivalent. They have something that's called cava, like it's their equivalent of champagne, and that shit costs like €3 per bottle, and that's a good one. Like I was getting so drunk on that. It's hilarious. So yeah, wine really depends. I just go to some wine boutique, and I'm the best customer for a sommelier because I was like, yeah, I'm going to have this for dinner, and I want something to accompany it. I want white wine. They're like, okay, what exactly do you want for taste? And then I gave them, and I generally even never write down the names of the wines that I like, so I can't answer the question. It's just whatever I'm being sold is the answer. So. I like how Bagsy is going through charts, drawing those squiggles as if the stream is about that.
Yeah, dude, this actually helps me get through my day. The whole squiggly shit. You know how people have their stress ball and they squeeze it all day? This is my de-stressing.
Oh yeah,
That,
I have playing cards
absolutely.
next to me all the time.
Nice.
So that's a noise to hear.
No, do you play
Yeah,
poker?
yeah. I mean, basically, poker is like a trader disease. You're bound to play poker at some point of time.
Yeah, that's why I ask. That's cool. Do you play heads up? What style?
Basically, well, look. If somebody is going to tell me to play Omaha, I'm going to play Omaha, but mainly it's Hold'em. It's for in Europe, poker is really not that big as it is in
Really? Huh?
in US. In Eastern Europe, though, yeah. Like if you come back to Russia, even in Ukraine, like in Ukraine, as far as I'm aware, gambling is banned. But like in capital city, and there are bootleg casinos that do insane amount of turnover. And yeah, so that is what I'm interested in. Gains the order block candles. What is that?
It's a script that gains you wrote that basically shows order blocks. I find it works better on the 12 and 4 hour. I use it sometimes on the 4, just for confluence after the fact. But they work quite well so far from what I've tested. But yeah, you can actually find it in my Discord, along with a bunch of other indicators and such. Yeah, thanks. I almost forgot my word. But yeah. Yo, AP, do you have anything you want to show?
Nudes are not allowed on Twitch, as far as I know.
What are
what
what's not allowed?
Nudes are not allowed.
needs? What is it all about
NUDE.
wants?
NUDE. I don't know.
Oh, nudes. Sorry.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
but you're on Twitch, right?
Yeah, I am. So I Twitch.
And
Yeah.
when do you like to stream usually?
Depends. Whenever I have a spare bottle of wine, the answer is.
Yeah.
Like one time, I
Cool.
got so drunk and nobody called me out on that, and it was hilarious. Like the next day, I woke up and people were like, "Oh, really good stream yesterday." And I was like, "Did I fucking stream?"
I was wasted.
I don't know. Hilarious. Anything that I want to share? I don't know. Really, BTC is the only thing that I'm currently trading, and mostly I give out free alpha on my Twitter. So if you see trades there, you can go there. That's about it. If there is anything to share, I don't know. I think so. With Ace, we've already picked up the argument that sometimes you need to know how to maximize trading opportunities as a trader. So when you identify a trend in general macro picture, you need to know how it's better to take opportunity out of it. Because in the end of the day, your job as a trader is not to only make the money, but to seize the opportunity, I guess. Carpe diem, all that shit. So if you wanted to do more stupid shit on your forearm, you can do that. Start with Carpe diem. Sorry, I'm triggered because I've literally encountered two girls, just different arms, where they had a variation of Carpe diem tattooed. I don't know. Anyway, I don't know where I'm getting with it. What I'm getting towards is, yeah, that wine is starting to kick in.
Hey, yeah. Good stuff.
What I'm getting towards is that sometimes you need to know what are your best setups and really put your pedal to the metal when that is going to happen. Because literally, for me right now, it started to get towards that point where I have my minimum target required for a month that I want to make, but there are 4 or 5 trades that appear throughout the year that can make your entire year done with the way that I trade. So because most of mine is generated like 4-hour daily trades, those can last for a week-long swing, I guess, and there is going to be enough price movement to actually get the size and the trade out. And that was the best thing that happened basically in 2018. In 2018 was the realization that if you hold through those trades, that is where the real money is at. Because before that, I've really never had a high 5-digit trade or anything like that. Like most of the money is made in the fucking trend, leverage trend. Somebody says all the money is made in the leverage longs during the bull market, which is so fucking true.
Would you say you're more so a range trader, or would you say you're more so a breakout trader? And I know that's a horrible like comparison.
honestly, I can't trade breakouts because quite simply I can't get the size that I want to with a nice invalidation level. Breakouts are fine to play in intraday. The thing about range trading, I'm mostly a trend follower, so I know that
Yeah.
during the times that the range is going to established, I have very good understanding of whether it's going to be a continuation or reversal pattern, and I position myself accordingly. The downside to this is going to be the fact. So, for example, there is a last tweet that I have made. I have shaved off some size from my long, but I'm still in a long, and I am risking basically some profits that people would consider ridiculous. But for me, that amount of money, like I'm not risking that entire amount of money to get back, give back to the market. But what I'm getting towards, it's fine for me that if, like, let's say I see 5% equity return on a trade,
Mhm.
it's fine for me if I will be stopped out of 2.5 on the trade and I have been sitting until the trend is invalidated. So I'll be
Yeah.
getting a lot of those trades, but once it's going to go, it's going to go. So it really depends.
Also, do you keep like any kind of like notebook or anywhere you keep your records, or do you just keep that all in your head?
Yeah, I'm a data maniac, so I do hold. The issue is understanding how you actually write down the journal. So to rephrase, one of the mistakes that I was going through, and generally I'll be paying for that with my time right now because this is what I plan to do over the next few weekends, is that I didn't really go through the reliability of the patterns and the profits that they're going to make on the time frame variety. So what I'm getting towards is that the similar pattern for me can appear on 1 hour, 15-minute, 4-hour daily time frame, right? But what I'm not getting towards is that how reliable it is throughout those different time frames. So I just kind of arbitraged all of that
Mhm.
together and said that this pattern from X amount of occasions that it happened out is reliable 73% of the time. But I don't know if it's reliable 73% of the time because it's dog shit on 15 minutes or it's straight out fire on 15 minutes and it doesn't work in the higher time frame. So
Mhm.
that is one of the things that I generally want to go through over the next few weeks. And maybe that will fine tune my strategy a little bit more. Maybe after that I will find out it's much better for me to trade in 15-minute time frame that will see better return on the capital. But
Yeah, I'd love to chat more with you because you sound like really smart with trading, and it's very interesting how you what you look at and things like that. So definitely look forward to chatting with you more in the future. Your DMs will be blown.
Is it a subtle way to say that if you're too drunk, you need to go sleep?
Yeah, man.
Rant mode
But
engage.
what's up? What's that, my dude? Shit. Anyways,
What kind of
yeah.
video games do you play, or if you play any?
I'm a massive Dark Souls fan, but yeah, basically everything in the genre. I like to play that. I used to spend a shit on amount of time to play StarCraft 2 and CS:GO. I spent most of my teens in a wheelchair, so I had to go through gaming at that period in my life. But right now, I don't know. It's like whenever a new Souls game comes out, I play that. But besides, am not necessarily interested. Those games that did play, though, I have to say, is Control. And if somebody has a PC to run that game, Control is fucking amazing. It's from the people who made Max Payne,
Mhm.
not
Oh
not this,
shit.
not the third one, the second one, and the first one, the original one, Remedy. And we won't talk about Quantum Break. We'll just focus on Max Payne stuff. But yeah, Control is freaking amazing. It's a mess of a game, but it's amazing.
I've never heard of that one. I'll have to look that up. Dark Souls I've heard of. I play with a couple of my other friends have gotten me into that one. Still haven't beat the game yet.
It's good. Yeah, it's good. I like fair but difficult games. It's cool. There is an easier, no, I wouldn't say easier version, but if you have a laptop, the best time spent for me playing on laptop was playing fucking Hollow Knight. And there is also a game called Blasphemous, which just came out. I didn't trade it yet. I didn't play it yet. Blasphemous and Hollow Knight. This is like 2D Dark Souls, but it's really cool.
Hollow Knight I feel like is on the Switch. That sounds familiar.
Maybe. I still didn't get a Switch. I borrowed a Switch from a friend, and by borrowed I mean I completely stole it from my friend to play New Legend of Zelda because I really wanted to.
Nice.
Yeah,
Did you beat it?
yeah.
Oh, I still haven't beat it yet. I've been so tied up with trading and World of Warcraft that I haven't had a chance to do that.
Nah, it was a while ago, like 8 months ago or so.
Oh, you mean that one? Oh, I mean, there's another new one that just recently
Yeah,
came.
yeah, I didn't play the new one. It was 8 months ago, and was it 8 months ago? It was April. I think it was April. Basically, uh, I have this inability. So whenever I have a swing trade going through, and I see like correction the lower time frame, I start considering, okay, I'm really good at trading corrections, especially during uptrend, because whenever it's trending, corrections tend to be different during trend and during the range. During range
Yeah.
is where I decide to stay out, but during a trend, and I think I will give an example since I'm talking a lot and I'm not showing anything. If you will go on a 1 hour time frame on BTC, the rise it has done from 9k to I think 14k. There
Yeah.
were 3 same corrections that you could trade absolutely the same way. So I'm just going to give you a screenshot right now, since I don't really know how to share a screen, but
Yeah, so here, like 1, 2,
here, I posted that.
okay.
Like, those 3 corrections are fucking played the same way. I mean, I didn't really...
Where'd you post it, bro?
Yeah, in the Twitch chat. I could
Oh.
do a little bit better with actually marking out just the correction, but you can see that there are 3 similar patterns, like very similar.
Right.
It breaks down the higher low structures that you had. It goes to retest the top. It goes back to the first leg that broke the higher low structure, and then continues to go. And then the second time, it's the same way. It breaks down, it breaks the higher low structure, goes to retest the top, goes back to the first legs that broke down the higher low structure, continues going up, and then the next one again. So corrections are very simple during a trend. This and then the next one again. Generally look like corrections are very simple, but afterwards in a ranging environment, which we had generally look corrections are very since the end of June until which September, they tend to get a lot more complex, and that's where people lose their money. So that
Yo,
depends.
Ace, do you mind pulling up his chart? Because
I can't see it. Are you sharing your screen or did you DM the chart?
No, I didn't DM it. It's in a
it was
Twitch
on
chat.
Twitch.
I can
Oh.
DM you right now.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, just because I don't have Twitch loaded on my PC that I'm streaming from, because it lags, so it doesn't actually save the trading view link.
We're starting a donation tab on your Twitch for new gear, new streaming gear for Bagsy.
Dude, it's dude, my PC's absolutely fine. That's not the problem.
No, we
Jesus.
need you to get a dedicated laptop.
I have a laptop.
Not a potato, Bagsy.
All right, fine. All right, AP, who did you DM?
Ace, and now I'm gonna DM you. There you go.
I guess you can share it since you're probably. But I see it though.
Yeah, I could do a better way with just marking out those corrections, but you understand that those really look similar.
The one
Okay,
the biggest dip for Bitcoin that like really got me, that like was like I was just like, wow, what the fuck happened? Was the dip to 1800. The one time we just flashed down, because like the week after that we were just like up and ripping. I was like, wow, that 1800 dip, man. I really regret life not buying into that dip.
1800 dip during January 2017 or like December 2017 when it dipped to like 10k and went back to 16k. Is that one?
No, it dipped. It was before, just a little bit before that. I wonder if I can pull up the chart. That was before we started taking off. Yeah, that was July. That was July 17th, 2017. So last or 2 summers ago.
Oh, I wasn't trading crypto back then, so I couldn't really Remember?
Yeah,
that.
I heard you mentioned something about somebody lost money in 2008. Were you exposed to the markets back then?
Well, no, I'm in my early 20s. It was my dad who lost the money. I was in my early teens, so I was just basically getting towards. Sorry.
So is that like how you got started, or like it just in general got the interest of things, or like how'd you
Yeah,
get?
yeah. It generally got me interested in the markets, and it was like, yeah, basically like, how come that my family used to have money and live pretty decently, and then like stuff like that happened. So I wanted to figure out what was going through and what was happening in the world. But I was in my very early teens back then. I was still a child, so that argument had to stay a little bit astray, and basically I got into trading back when I was in my first year in college, and the only reason why I really wanted to get back into trading, and I only got into trading, was because I was dating a girl back at the time who was studying economics, and I was studying chemical engineering. Um, and basically, what happened one time is that I was going to go on the internship into the same firm that she was going through. I was studying Zurich, so there was an equal financial sector and research sector for applied sciences. And yeah, basically, somehow I ended up in the financial firm. And I've seen people trading there, and I was like, "Oh, it's fascinating! People are pressing red and green buttons, and they're making money. I want to do some. I want some stuff like that." So yeah, that's when I've got into trading basically more. Made an FX account, blew it, then because and I mean, basically my argument when I was trading back then was a hustler's mindset. I had a clothing shop opened back at my hometown back then, and the idea was that, okay, I can buy this unit somewhere for 2 USD and I can sell it for 4 USD, but I know that the price is going to fluctuate in between 2 and 4 USD, right? So whenever I would go to FX pairs, I would be completely attracted towards the pieces that are not trending. Those that were volatile completely made me uninterested. I was interested in channel bound pairs, and I would be like, okay, I can buy for, let's say, like 50 cents and sell for 51 cents. But I was always getting rinsed whenever this channel broke out. And I was like, how do I get some piece of that trending information when it's breaking out of the channel? Or is that correction? And that's what got me into trend following. And I guess my understanding of the market started to go from there.
That's pretty awesome.
Hey, so how about you? You wanted to spend some of that Hackerman money?
I actually had I was on Instagram. I had a bunch of friends that like traded gold and silver and stuff. But like physically, and then like a couple of them were like into this Bitcoin and whatever and Litecoin. They're like, yeah, we're trading this stuff, and I was like, well, I always wanted to trade that stuff because I remember I heard about Bitcoin back in like 2010, and I remember when I was like real young, I used to look at like the oil stocks, and I used to be like, why is oil always down whenever it's wintertime, but then up during summertime, the gas prices and stuff? So
Mhm.
I looked at all that stuff, and then finally I got trading into that, and I was just like, all right, cool. I bought my first crypto, got onto Bittrex, and I kept losing money. I couldn't understand. I was like, fuck, man. I'm like, I make some money sometimes, but most of the time my shit ends up down and everything else ends up red. So I got really mad one day and I was like, yo, I gotta get this shit right now. So I like sat down and I was like live trading ADA. And then like I finally figured it out. I'm like, yo, these triangles are actually real. These things actually work. So I started looking up what patterns are, candle formations and things like that. And just picked it up from there myself. I've been pretty much self-taught, like, so that's why like whenever people ask me for like wording and like terms and stuff, I'm terrible with terms because I taught myself completely, so it's a little different. But yeah, I'm really glad I learned it. I wish I learned it a lot sooner, and like people taught me about this stuff when I was freaking 18, 16, 15. Like that'd be great. Like I can't wait to teach kids if I ever have them. Like, yo, you guys want allowance? Learn to trade.
True. I mean, honestly, trading really exposes your weaknesses and strengths.
Yeah.
And also, one thing of advice: if you ever think like if Plan A is not working and you need a Plan B, sometimes it's better off just doing Plan A better. Most people don't understand that, but uh, some traders that I have been talking through that are struggling and they ask for advice. Most of the time, they actually know the setups where they make money, but they're not focusing on those setups. They're trying to trade way too many setups instead of focusing on just one. And it's fine to be a one-trick pony as long as it works.
Hmm.
Is what I'm getting at. So sometimes it's just better to understand where your fucking strong point is and trying to develop out of it. So if I know that my strong point is trading out of a corrective pattern into impulse, so I'm pretty good at timing breakouts and understanding when they're going to happen, but position myself before that is going to happen with the lesser amount of risk. I can do that on any time frame. The issue is where I'm going to have the best return on the capital. And mostly from crypto, I just was an eye test is going to be 1 hour mostly, especially with BTC where most liquidity is. I'm not sure about altcoins.
On the 1 hour.
Yeah, it also depends on like what asset I trade as well. Like the SPY, like I trade that on the 1 minute chart, and people find me nuts for doing that, but it's great for option trading for me.
Yeah, SPX is something that you can actually SPX is something that you can trade in like in 1 minute time frame. Oil is something that I can go into 1 minute time frame if I'm bored and trade as well. People are like, it's completely fine. The chart behaves very similarly. But I think that whenever you're trading in like a 1 minute time frame, you're much more dependent on understanding how order flow works. So it's also an important piece, and not many people even talk about order flow on crypto. So the only people that I know talking about order flow are essentially
Stock
young.
traders.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's mostly I find like stock traders and FX traders talking about that.
Yeah, I guess, but like in crypto, only Young Tilopa, Tommy Zero, and Cantor Clark are people that are using order flow, from what I know. And it's really strange to me because if you're looking at the pattern on the chart,
Hmm.
you are essentially trying to assume, okay, here is a pattern, and I expect buyers or sellers to step in at this price and do their thing, right? I mean, if you're looking like a bull flag, buyers should be stepping in to continue to the downside, all that stuff, like basic presumption. How do you know that the buyers are actually stepping in? You will only know that if order flow and orders going through are going to support your idea. So basically, if you're only trading from the chart, you're trading half of the picture, in my opinion. So it's something that people also need to integrate into their trading if they want to go through.
Do you integrate both yourself?
Of course, yeah, you have to.
That's interesting you say that. So that you basically consider like tensor charts and stuff order flow, right? Or no?
Well, not necessarily. So order flow for me is not only composition of where orders are, because tensor chart is essentially heat map of where orders are, right? So
Mhm.
there are many things to order flow. So what I use is cumulative delta,
Hmm.
and I use something that's called depth of market. Basically, you know where orders and how they're being executed. Cumulative delta is essentially an argument. It's it's like it's a line that has been plotted on the chart. On tensor charts, it's CVD, cumulative volume delta, but it behaves a little bit differently. And the basic argument is that you have market buys minus market sells. And the idea is that the hand of the market, especially in such a shallow market as crypto, is going to be situated on the limit side. So if market buys are going through, but the price doesn't follow, it means that the limit hand is actually stepping in and selling, right?
Yeah.
So that is the presumption. You attribute that heaviness towards the limit hand. But what not many people understand is that during a trend, it's completely fine to have market orders going through and generate most of the momentum. They just think that market orders are going to get faded. That is not how it's going to go through. Like, I can give multiple examples, I think just from my Twitter itself. So before we broke down, there was this 10.2, 10.3K level, which many people are talking about. So I think this tweet, where's it, Bagsy? Okay. Is it better to DM you, or is it better to post something somewhere else?
Hangouts would be great. Thanks.
Sure. So there was this pattern, and right now I'm going to show you. That's the chart. I'm going to go to, how's this called? A picture beforehand. So this is what happened a few days before that. So you see the chart, right, where it's going through 10.2K, where it's marked, right? Now look at this piece. Oh, I actually can do it like that. I need to post it as I did before. 1 second. See
Yeah,
this?
sure.
Now, can you open that?
Yeah.
Right.
Cumulative delta. Yeah.
Let's look at that. So what do you notice from that chart?
Mm.
You notice that cumulative delta is going up, but the price doesn't, right? You have divergence, or so-called.
Where exactly?
Well, it's marked. No.
Okay, yeah, of course.
Yeah. So you can notice and you understand basically that cumulative delta is market buys, market sells. So there are market buys going through, but the price doesn't follow. So that means that there is going to be a limit seller situated, right?
Interesting.
So when the price revisited back to 10.2 and 10.3K, when we had that week up, which I was anticipating through pattern analysis, I knew that if we will close below 10.2, 10.3K, where a limit seller was situated before, we will continue to go down. And that's why I held short from 10.3K to low 8Ks. Because there was a guy
Yeah.
situating with that order. And that was what I'm getting towards it. It's important to know that
Interesting.
going to be some orders going through. There is some other stuff that I can give you as an interesting thing. It's going to be a PDF file, something that I had going through Discord, but we won't talk about that. Anyway, 1 second. I'll share it. I'm not sure how
Thanks,
I can
man.
share a PDF file.
Uh,
Can I still share it here?
is it online, or is
Um,
it like the file itself?
it's like a file itself. I think I can upload it there, and then Google Docs or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll do that after.
Sure. But basically, what I wanted to show you is that if you will just look at cumulative delta and how it behaved
Yeah.
at 10.9K in July. So there was that occasion when we were at 9.8K. It then went to 12K and
Yeah.
then dumped to 10.8K or something. There was so much market sales going through. People were shitting themselves. Cumulative delta at 10.8K was below 9.7K, if I'm not mistaken, and the price held. And then we made one of the more bullish patterns to the upside to go to 13.K. But what I'm getting towards, remember I was mentioning 10.8K, where people were shitting their other pants, and the price just didn't go lower despite people market selling. Now look at the chart and how pivotal 10.8, 10.9K was through this entire range, through this entire correction.
Yeah. Is there a cumulative delta on TradingView?
No, you need
A
to
custom
have
one? Okay.
No. You need to have order book access to have it. So those three
Right.
that provided are
Yeah.
going to be either Tensor charts. The one that I use is the one made by my friend. Basically, it's called Atos. I can give you a link. It's free, but basically discretion's that I know the guy, so I have to say that. And
Yeah, thanks.
Chill us.
Chill it.
and it's free, so there is nothing to shill. And the other thing is Trading Technologies is the one that Catherine Clark uses, and I think that Young Tilopa uses Sierra charts, if I'm not mistaken. So you can use either one of those. Sierra is like 50 USD per month. ATAS is free. Right now it's in beta testing and they need support. And Tensor is like 10 USD per month. So I guess there are a lot of options going through, but for 50 USD, it's a very, very interesting tool that you can get towards your trading. But yeah, so cumulative delta is one thing. Then there is reading tape with DOM, depth of market, and it's a completely different thing that I can go into for a few hours, which I don't necessarily want to do. But it's a little bit of a knacky thing. Like you need to observe the beat actually being hit, the offer getting lifted, in order to understand what is actually going to happen with the price. It's much like you're scalping on a 1 minute time frame, and it probably things that Ace will relate. You sometimes just know what is going to happen on a 1 minute time frame, and but you can't necessarily put it into words.
Dude, yeah, man. The Trader Goo does that shit. Whenever we trade Forex, he looks at like the 1 second chart, but then he looks at something else that we've discussed, and like I can spot the level, but he can spot it just a little bit more precise than me. And I'm always like, yo, what the fuck? How'd you do that? And I was just a little bit off. But yeah, that's really crazy whenever that happens on the charts.
So, I mean, I don't know how he does that, because it's a little bit saying like coming to a neck, but it's difficult to pinpoint what exactly it is. Like, generally, just having enough screen time when you're trading is very important. Like, just stare at the charts for a year and you're probably going to get better, but understand that you need some way to process information. Like what we started off the stream with, trading is very difficult because you don't necessarily know where is like the alphabet of trading, what you should start with when you're picking it up. It seems like one guy saying, "Oh, Elliott Wave helped me to predict this," and then you plot a fib, and the only reason why his target was hit on BTC is because he plotted the fib, not because he was right with Elliott Wave. The other guy was like, "Oh, price action is the only way to go." The other guy will say, "Okay, I'm only building algorithms," and all that. Everybody has their own truths, and you don't fucking know where to start. So there is one thing that I would really want to do is something similar to what Krat has done, where he had made a free introduction to trading, where basically the core concepts are being covered, and you can then have some understanding what you're actually doing with your trading system and how you're building it towards. But I think that he's missing some stuff that I would want to go through, because in my opinion, not many people look at the chart and understand that it has 3 variables straight away: price, time, and volume. And people completely miss that. So price action traders mostly look at price, and if they trade Forex, they look at time in terms of sessions, like Asia session and Frankfurt Open, London Open, all that stuff. But they don't necessarily gauge the time. It's important as well. This is galaxy brain stuff. Baxley's completely tired. I'm drunk. Ace is for phoning out. Best stream ever. Bagsley will never invite me again.
Someone on the YouTube side said, "I love the drunk European. Can he be a regular? Having 3 people is perfect." It's very kind of you to say, Leroy. Oh. But yeah, boys, I actually have to wrap it up myself. But first of all, AP and Ace, thanks for coming on with me. I had a lot of fun. And AP,
yeah,
feel free to get drunk come on whenever you want.
Sure. So the next time I will be drunk with whiskey, so we'll see if it's going to be such a
It's gonna be an angry drunk.
Angry.
yeah, completely fucking screaming into the mic.
I love it, but
You fucking retard!
yeah, goddamn you!
Oops.
Yeah, jokes aside, thanks for sharing what you know, and I really appreciate your time, dude.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
It was nice chatting with you and meeting you guys.
Yeah, dude, 100%. And to everyone at home, thanks for tuning in. I'll be back on tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern. So you guys have a great night, and catch you then.